Charlie section. On the end. Second from the bar who used to show cows here, but he sold them, so we just judge them today. This is the name. And bringing up the rear in the gallery section is David Cornfrey, winner of the Bell Irving Silver Perpetual Challenge Cup, awarded to the best or Norway Association champion.
So Alison, how did the exhibition come about?
Well, I was actually asked by this year's chairman, Russell Kingan, if I would be able to help do some sort of display because it's the 50th show since Dumfries show and Lockerbie show amalgamated. So going through the old newspapers, which we have at the Ewart Library in Dumfries, we were able to put this display together.
And how much interest has there been in the exhibition today?
Well, it's been really quite encouraging. A lot of people that have come in have seen relatives, they've seen themselves, and it's been a really worthwhile thing to do, just to kind of raise awareness that, you know, maybe they have photographs at home that they'd kind of forgotten about, maybe don't know where to put them. So it just kind of raising awareness that, you know, these photographs are out there and anybody can look at them in the library as well.
And we're doing this, will you preserve them for the future?
Absolutely. The thing is that, you know, once this exhibition comes down, then it'll be for the society, so they can do with it what they want after that. So it's there in an archive, as it were. So. And
are you hoping to do a similar exhibition next year?
Well, we're hoping that if we get lots of new material, new photographs, then hopefully we'll be able to put another exhibition together next year.
Slightly aged since then, I'm afraid, but no, that was, you know, we showed fairly regularly at both Lockerbie and Dumfries at that time before the amalgamation, and you know, it was a pity that Lockerbie went, but I think just the problem with shows was keeping them financed, really, and you know, it's still that way today, that it's difficult to keep these small local shows going.
What were your memories of the Lockerbie show?
Well, I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember that we had a donkey, that they used to have a donkey race at the Lockerbie show, and it provided some hilarity, and that we could ride the donkey fine, but whenever an adult got on it, it just seemed to tip them off fairly quickly.
And were these good horses you showed there?
We like to think they were good. In fact, I think one of these horses, I think he went on eventually to win a championship here at Dumfries, but unfortunately that was a year when we had a thunderstorm and the field was cleared before the parade, actually, and there wasn't actually a parade, and I think I was one of the few animals left in the show field because our transport was away home.
All right.
So that was one memory, and it was the actual thunderstorm in the show field, and the horse tramped the shoe off, so it was shown with -1 shoe, which was rather unusual.
So how many of a crowd would the Lockerbie show get?
Very difficult to say. As I say, I don't remember a lot about it, but you know, I think from viewing from the pictures we have, there didn't appear to be a lot of people there. But, you know,
and where was it located?
It was located in what is now the market field, which is being, in actual fact, at this moment being developed. They're building houses on it, which is another thing that's obviously going to be lost. Another part of history away. But you know, at that time it was held in
this was Harrison and Hetherington.
Showfield adjacent to the market.
And what breeds were the strongest at Lockerbie? Was it sheep?
Well, I would think it would be sheep at that time, but as I say, my memory is very short. I can hardly remember what I did yesterday. But no, we were always just involved in the Clydesdale section, but you know, I'm quite sure that there's bound to be photos of other sections available if people just come forward with them.
And then 50 years ago next year, the merger took place.
Yes.
And did that give a boost to both shows?
Well, Lockerbie show disappeared altogether. It, you know, it was no longer held. And the Dumfries show used to be held the last Saturday in July, and we shifted on to the Lockerbie show date for the first Saturday in August because we thought they always got better weather. So looking at the way the weather's going today, we've probably been lucky up till now.
Yeah, because you're usually quite fortunate, aren't you?
Yes, we've been reasonably fortunate. We had a muddy year, as has been shown in some of the exhibits here.
And do Sorry, do you think it's the right step that it emerged back then?
I think it had to happen, yes. And Thornhill was going at that time too, and it has disappeared since then too. Very shortly after Lockerbie.
And it's meant our strongest show over
I think
the years.
yes, that's right. And it's difficult for people to exhibit it at a number of shows. And the likes of the Lockerbie show, it was a restricted show. There was only certain parishes that showed at these shows, and we still have cups awarded here for the old Lockerbie show area, which is competed by people who were resident in these parishes. There is a list of parishes that competed at Lockerbie.
So are you pleased they've retained the Lockerbie identity at Dumfries?
Yes, very much so. It's very much part of the history of the show, but it's awful easy to say it's Dumfries show now, and I think people have come to recognise that. And if you talk about Dumfries show, they know what the event is, and it has come that way over the years.
So how many years will you have showed at both venues?
Well, it's the 50 years plus. We're not disclosing it just exactly.
And what's the biggest change you've noticed, is it?
Well, it's obvious in the breeds. Breeds now that didn't exist at that time. The introduction of continental cattle and continental sheep, and a big influence in the livestock industry.
And farming, is it a bigger scale now, is it?
Much bigger, yeah. At that time, comparing the implements at that time with what we have nowadays, there are about millions of pounds worth of machinery on this field today, which is a complete difference. And in the early days, I remember doing a commentary on machinery. We used to have a machinery parade in Dumfries show, and I remember doing a commentary on that. And the value of the machinery then would be peanuts compared with what we have today. And I remember early days in Dumfries show, we had great difficulty keeping the trade stands coming. They felt they weren't getting value for money. Unfortunately, one local trader said that the farmers supported him and he was supporting the show, and I think he kept the trade stands here when they pulled out of other shows. But it's times move on and things change.
And is there maybe one memory over the 50 years that sticks in your mind?
Not really. I think it's just it's always been a good show, and we like to think we're improving the facilities, and we've done a lot of work in the show field here. We're very fortunate. Some of the directors in the past had the foresight to buy this field, and it's an excellent field. And it stands wet weather, and we had, as I say, a very wet show a number of years ago, and we put in a lot of permanent roads since then and improved the facilities.
And has the show always gone on?
It's gone on, apart from the new footmouth here, of course, there was problems.
Restricted shows?
Yes, that's right.
There's always been something, isn't it?
Yes, as far as I'm aware, there's always been a show of some sort, yeah.
A lot of hard work. From Rory Stanson, from Richard Beatties at Yesket, Lockerbie. What's really nice about this, everybody says there's no young people coming into the industry. They're all young. I think that's terrific. Congratulations. Fertility, specialist courses in carrion and dry cow management. These are available at E levels, introductory level, skilled nurse persons level, and nurse management level.
That's an order, isn't it? I hope so.
Right.